Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, brothers and sisters. Today's lesson focuses on a two-dimensional inelastic collision of three rigid spheres on a frictionless air table. As usual, we apply here the law of conservation of linear momentum and the scalar nature of kinetic energy. So just stick around, watch, and learn. The given problem is spheres A with a mass 0.020 kilogram, sphere B whose mass is 0.030 kilogram, and sphere C with a mass of 0.050 kilogram are approaching the origin as they slide on a frictionless air table. The initial velocities of spheres A and B are given in figure 1. All three spheres arrive at the origin at the same time and stick together. Question letter A. What must the x and the y components of the initial velocity of sphere C be if all three objects are to end up moving at 0.50 meters per second in the positive x direction after the collision? And question letter B. If sphere C has the velocity found in part A, what is the change in the kinetic energy of the system of three spheres as a result of the collision? In our illustration in figure 1, we are looking at the three spheres from a bird's eye view perspective. As each sphere moves with different constant speeds when they approach the origin of our x and y coordinates. Sphere A has a mass equal to 0.020 kilogram. Sphere B also has a mass equal to 0.030 kilogram, and sphere C has a mass of 0.050 kilogram. Just before the three spheres collide, sphere A is moving with a velocity v sub A1 equal to negative 1.5 meters per second, while sphere B has an initial velocity v sub B equal to 0.50 meters per second. Its path makes an angle of 60 degrees from the positive x-axis. But its velocity just before the collision has a direction with a reference angle of 60 degrees or 60 degrees, all right, in the third quadrant, all right? So the terminal angle of 240 degrees, all right? The angle that the velocity vector of sphere B forms with the negative x-axis, okay, is also 60 degrees. All right. We just subtract the terminal angle of 240 degrees minus 180 degrees. And our target variables All right. In part A, uh, the x component of the velocity of sphere C, okay, denoted by small b sub cx, and the y component denoted by b sub cy. Right? And in part B, we are also required to determine the change in the kinetic energy or total kinetic energy of the system just after the collision. Let's start our computations for the x and the y components of the initial velocities. All right. For sphere A, its initial velocity is just along the negative x direction. So its v sub ax is equal to negative 1.5 meters per second. And it has no um, y component. So v sub ay is equal to 0. For sphere B, all right, the initial velocity v sub b equal to 0.50 meters per second. And it is directed such that the terminal angle, which lies in the third quadrant, is 240 degrees. So uh, we can break this down into the x and the y components. For the x component, b sub bx, that will be equal to um, 0.50 meters per second multiplied by the cosine of that angle, 240 degrees. But you can also use cosine 60 degrees. It's just that uh, when you use 240 degrees, you'll be able to get the correct direction of this x component. That is, it is negative 0.25 meters per second in two significant figures. The negative sign simply suggests that the x component of the initial velocity of sphere B is directed towards the negative x axis. Now, for the y component, b sub by, that's just equal to 0.50 meters per second multiplied by the sine of the angle 240 degrees, which gives us the value of the y component equal to negative 0.43 meters per second, also in three significant figures. Okay, the negative sign also suggests that the y component of the initial velocity of sphere B is directed in the negative y direction. Just after the three spheres collide and stick together, we consider this as an inelastic collision. The system now moves with a common velocity, okay, denoted by small letter v prime, and it is equal to 0.50 meters per second in the positive x direction. So we can now proceed in finding the uh, x component of the total momentum as well as the y component of the total momentum before the collision. Starting with the x component of the total momentum of sphere A, okay, which is simply equal to the product of its mass, 0.020 kilogram, and its initial x component of the velocity, negative 1.5 meters per second. So that gives us the magnitude, right, of a piece of AX equal to 0.030 kilogram meter per second in two significant figures. Okay, the negative sign suggests that the momentum of sphere A before the collision is directed uh, in the negative x direction. It has no y component of its initial momentum. So piece of AY equals 0. For sphere B, the x component of its initial momentum, piece of BX, equals 0.030 kilogram multiplied by its uh, x component of its initial velocity, negative 0.25 meter per second, which is equal to piece of Bx equals negative 0.0075 kilogram meter per second, also in two significant figures. And just like its initial velocity, the initial momentum along the horizontal is negative, right? Since uh, sphere B is also approaching the origin, and its y component, piece of By, equals 0.030 kilogram multiplied by the uh, y component of its initial velocity, negative 0.43 meters per second. And that gives us a piece of By equal to negative 0.013 kilogram meter per second, also in two significant figures. The negative sign also suggests that the initial or the y component of its initial momentum, okay, is directed towards the negative y-axis. For sphere C, its initial momentum along the x-axis is uh, piece of Cx equals 0.050 kilogram multiplied by its x component of the velocity, b sub x. And the y component of its initial momentum equals 0.050 kilogram multiplied by b sub cy. Take note, um, we are looking for both b sub cx and b sub cy in part A. Hence, we can express the total momentum uh, along the horizontal, or PT P sub Tx, okay, equal to negative, or quantity negative 0.030 plus negative 0.0075 kilogram meter per second. So this is uh, the combined momenta for sphere A and sphere B, okay, before the collision. And then we also add PC P sub Cy, 0.050 kilogram multiplied by B sub Cx. Okay? And we simplify this equation into negative 0.038 kilogram meter per second plus 0.050 kilogram times B sub x, or B sub Cx. Now, for the total momentum of the system just after the collision, okay, the x component, pt prime x, okay, is determined here by multiplying the combined mass of the three spheres, 0.103 kilogram, and their common uh, velocity, all right, along the horizontal, 0.50 meter per second, which gives us 0.050 kilogram meter per second. Be able to compute the magnitude of V sub Cx, we now apply the linear momentum conservation law, which, as you may know, states that for any isolated system, the total momenta before and after collision are always equal. That is, uh, P sub Tx equals P sub T prime x. So, plugging the computed quantities, we have uh, on the left side of the equation, the total x component of the momentum before the collision, negative 0.038 kilogram meter per second plus 0.050 kilogram times V sub Cx, okay, equal to the total momentum, okay, along the x-axis just after the collision, which is 0.050 kilogram meter per second. And we can isolate B sub Cx, all right, equal to 0.088 kilogram meter per second divided by 0.050 kilogram, which gives us, okay, the value of the x component of uh, the initial velocity of sphere C, or B sub Cx equals 1.8 meters per second. Sphere A has no y component of the initial momentum. So P sub Ay equals 0. But for sphere B, the y component of its initial momentum, p sub by, equals 0.030 kilogram multiplied by its initial y component of the velocity, okay, negative 0.43 meters per second, which gives us, right, the value of p sub by equal to negative 0.013 kilogram meter per second in two significant figures, and the y component of the initial momentum along the y-axis of sphere B, all right, is in the negative y direction. That is the meaning of the negative sign here. And for sphere C, the y component of its momentum before the collision, p sub cy equals 0.050 kilogram, okay, multiplied by the other unknown variable, b sub cy. So if we add this components or y components of the momenta, we get p sub ty equal to 0.050 kilogram. That's the mass of the sphere C, right? Times, of course, b sub cy plus negative 0.013 kilogram meter per second, right? So this is for sphere B. To be able to determine the value of the y component of the initial velocity of sphere C, right? We again apply the law of conservation of linear momentum, okay? But this time, we're dealing with y components. So pt or p sub ty equals p t prime y. So for the initial sum of the y components of the momentum, we have negative 0.013 kilogram meter per second plus 0.050 kilogram times b sub cy. And this is equated to 0 because the total y component of the momentum just after the collision is equal to 0. We therefore isolate b sub cy, right? And to get the value of b sub cy, we just divide 0.013 kilogram meter per second by 0.050 kilogram and get the magnitude of b sub cy equal to 0.26 meters per second in two significant figures. Right? This is understood to have a positive sign, suggesting that the y component of the velocity of sphere C before the collision is in the positive y direction. In answering the question in part B, computing the change in the total kinetic energy of the system just after the collision, okay, we need to determine the total kinetic energy of the system, okay, before the collision. And the formula uh, simply means that we are going to get the algebraic sum of the kinetic energy, okay, of each sphere before they collide, right? And since kinetic energy is a scalar quantity, there is no need to use the x and the y components of the speed, all right? For spheres A and B, okay, the initial speeds are already given. And for sphere C, what's given in the problem are the x and the y components, which was already computed earlier. But we don't actually uh, get the vector sum of the x and the y component of the velocity. Okay, we use that, or we apply the Pythagorean formula only for quantities that are added vectorially, such as momentum, right? But for kinetic energy, we will just add uh, the x, or the square of the x component of BCX and the square of BCY. That is 1.8 meters per second, okay, to be squared, plus 0.26 meters per second, also to be squared. And when we do our math, we get the value of VC squared equal to 3.3 meters squared per second squared. And then proceed in solving for uh, case of t, okay, following this formula. That is, case of t equals 1 half times the product of uh, the mass of sphere A, 0.020 kilogram, then multiplied by the square of its initial speed, 1.5 meter per second. And then we add the kinetic energy for sphere B before the collision, or 1 half times the product of 0.030 kilogram and the square of its initial speed, 0.50 meter per second. And for the kinetic energy of sphere C before the collision, which is 1 half multiplied by the product of its mass, 0.050 kilogram, and the value of 3.3, okay, which has the unit meter squared per second squared, because that is the meaning of BC squared. All right, take note, we don't get the square of 3.3 because it's already squared. So simplifying the value of the total kinetic energy of the three spheres before they collide, we have case of T equal to 0.023 joules plus 0.0038 joules plus 0.083 joules for a total of 0.110 joules expressed or rounded up to 3 decimal places. Of course, we also get or compute for the total kinetic energy of the system just after the collision. And the formula simply goes case of T prime equals 1/2 the product of the total masses MA plus MB plus MC and the square of their common speed just after the collision B prime. That is, KT prime equals 1/2 the product of 0.100 kilogram. Okay, that is the total mass of the three spheres. And multiplied by 0.50 meter per second squared. So when we do our math, we get this total amount of kinetic energy of the system just after the collision, 0.013 joules, rounded to two significant figures. Which will lead us now to determine, all right, the change in the kinetic energy, total kinetic energy of the system just after the collision, or that is delta K sub T equals 0.013 joules. Okay, this is the amount of the total kinetic energy just after the collision, and then minus 0.110 joules, the total kinetic energy before the collision. And our answer delta K sub T equals negative 0.097 joules, rounded to two significant figures. The meaning of the negative sign here is that the kinetic energy of the system after the collision, okay, is very much lower compared to the total kinetic energy of the system before the collision. Okay. In other words, there is a loss of some of the kinetic energy of the system. Okay. The meaning of the negative sign means the total kinetic energy has decreased. So that is also tantamount to saying that the total kinetic energy of a system in an inelastic collision is not conserved, but rather it is decreased because some of this kinetic energy of the system has been converted to other forms of energy, such as heat or thermal energy and probably sound energy. So that concludes our video lesson for this topic. May I say mabuhay. Till the next episode. MashaAllah. Thank you very much for your indulgence. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alhamdulillah.